Hi, hello, welcome back to another Onkruid video, welcome back to another episode in our series on the book The Gift of Therapy by Yalom. Tip 12 today. Tip 12, engage in personal therapy. Engaging in personal therapy as a therapist is, according to Yalom, one of the most, if not the most important part of your education to become a therapist. You are your own instrument and you need to really know that instrument by heart in all of its intricacies. You need to know about all your emotions, about yourself, about the darker sides of you as a person too, your shadow as Jung would put it. You have to be a role model for your clients. You have to work on your own blind spots, your own anxieties, your own neuroticisms, your beliefs about your influence on others, just about the things that they might be struggling with as well, they being your fellow travelers. Yalom himself, in his 45-year-long lasting career, has participated in copious numbers of different psychotherapies. The most intriguing one he talks about here, which I had to look up whether that was true, was naked marathon therapy, where they had group therapy for like an entire day for 24 hours on end. So that's where the marathon comes in. For 1 second I thought he ran 42 kilometers with his dick out, but naked marathon therapy is 24 hours of group therapy, but everyone in the group is naked. What the fuck? Was my reaction, and I presume that might be your reaction too, but that's not the point. The point is that he didn't shy away from trying new things in the therapy field. He didn't only adhere or only look for help in his own field. He didn't just go into existential therapies or into humanistic therapies. He also went in psychoanalysis for, I think he said something like 600 hours, for example. So he has seen quite a bunch of different therapists and therapy forms in his lifetime. A wide variety, because, according to Yalom, we should not think in schools too much. The best way to learn about the school of therapy, if you do want to partition it into school, is to partake in that school, is to really experience the life in the therapy as a client. He also is a big advocate, and he practices what he preaches, for going through different therapies in different phases of your life. And regarding different problems you have, different therapies might be more appealing to you or might be a better fit to you at that phase or at that time. Like, for example, when he was really suffering from a specific complaint that he wanted to get rid of immediately, cognitive behavioral therapy. When he wanted to look more at the relationship between him and his parents and the influence his early childhood experiences had on him now, psychoanalysis was on the docket. When he was fearing death and that fear of death impeded his functioning, a client-centered existential therapist like Rollo May. Group therapy in your education, which is something I have. We have learning therapy weekends, and I find that one of the most valuable parts of our education, both for my own formation as a therapist, but also for our group. Yalom still calls that different from group therapy with people you don't know, people you've never met before. In your education group, there will always be a sense of competition, and there will also be more complexity because of what happens outside of the group between you as well. Whereas a group therapy with strangers is more pure and it's more authentic, maybe. My own thoughts. It's a tip I probably need to hear more than I think, or more than I give Yalom credit for. I've been on the brink of sending an application email to a bunch of therapists for 3 or 4 times now already, but every single time I block myself off. I think like, no, my complaints are not severe enough, or they are not concrete enough. I don't have this specific problem that I want to go into therapy for. And that is complete malarkey. That's just bollocks. That's pure avoidance on my end, probably. I must say that I feel like my mental health is quite okay and quite stable, and it has been like that for a couple of years now. So that is also like a valuable counter argument as to why I think I don't need therapy at this point in time, but it can never do any harm. And I definitely don't know the ins and outs of this instrument that I'm using to treat clients in its entirety. I think nobody ever does, and I think I could be working on that a bit more by going into therapy or practicing more self-reflection, and therapy is of course a perfect context to do that. Everyone can use therapy and benefit from this process of self-exploration, especially people using that self to try and help others. And the part about going to different kinds of therapy in different phases of your life is something I also found very valuable. You as a person are of course dynamic. You change throughout your life. You don't stay the same. Therefore, your needs and your outlook on life also differs, also differentiates throughout the different developmental stages you go through. And I think there's certain therapies that are better fit for certain of those stages. So I find that very, very valuable. You develop yourself in a constant interaction with a dynamic outside world. And I think the therapy you go into can be a beautiful form of that interaction taking place. In a two-way sense, of course, because you're changing, because you're going into therapy, but if it's a good therapy, your therapist is also changing. That's sounding like a broken record. Thank you very much, Joe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.